Hi everyone, welcome back to Net on Music. And today I'm going to talk to you about a very special band that I think you all should know, which is the United States of America. A 60s rock band, but their members were specifically focused on not making any sort of traditional psychedelic rock band, but instead they wanted to try out every single electronic instrument or sound there was out there, and so they refused to use guitars so that they would have a very particular sound, and this is their story. The main characters here are Joseph Byrd and Dorothy Moskowitz. They used to be a couple, boyfriend and girlfriend. They break up in very good terms. Still, during their relationship and after their relationship, they were really leftist, like really sticking to the whole communist dogma, and they were trying to promote the whole revolution idea. So yeah, they were commies, absolutely. And then they also developed a sort of passion for music. Joseph Byrd started hanging out with David LaFlame, I don't know how it's pronounced, an amazing violin player and vocalist, and they decided to start a band. Joseph Byrd remembers Dorothy as a very good singer, so he summons her ex-girlfriend and they start putting together a band. Because it was all political, they decided to name it the United States of America. And because Joseph Byrd was very well connected, they managed to get a manager and a producer instantly, and they get to work straight ahead to the studio. Both Byrd and Moskowitz start writing songs together, which go in a very different range of themes. Of course, there are very communist songs like Love Song for the Dead Che, dedicated to Che Guevara, and there are the most traditional love songs or rock songs regarding love, like Heart Coming Love. There are also like this whole esoterical thinking and different planes like the Garden of Earthly Delights, and they try to experiment all kind of different sounds and lyrics and stuff like that. A very special track is one they released as a single, which is called Osamu's Birthday. It's musically probably not very relevant, but what they did was having Moskowitz sing phonetically backwards, so that when you play the song backwards, they would actually be singing the real lyrics. So that's the way it will work. They start performing live, and they require this huge equipment to manage all the different sounds and electronic devices, and they were also using all kind of electronic filters to filter through them the regular sounds of instruments like the violin, which I can forget to mention that David LaFlame leaves the band in order to start the band It's a Beautiful Day, which I'm also going to review afterwards because it's worth it. And so they hire another violin player, and their live performances became really well known, and people were really wanting to listen to this band and to their new sounds and techniques and all that. They had huge potential. So they released a first single, which is The Garden of Earthly Delights, which is quite experimental, and the lyrics play along the whole spiritual kind of theme. And the B-side is Love Song for the Dead Che, which I must say, even though I don't really like communist things, and I especially don't like Che Guevara because he murdered homosexuals, which I think that's reason enough to consider him a terrorist, I think it's probably one of the best love songs I've ever heard. And I'm lucky enough they don't even mention the guy's name in the song, so you can just really sing it and pretend. That single was released in 1968. And the next single would be Heart Coming Love, which is probably one of my favorite tracks from the United States of America. And the B-side is Osamu's Birthday, the song I mentioned that was recorded phonetically backwards, so that when you play it backwards you can actually hear the real lyrics. And then when it came to recording the album, they started noticing a big problem, which was they were summoning a lot of their friends that were politically left inclined, and that was apparently the only reason they were there. So there was no one who had any experience with rock music or playing with a band or anything like that. So it's sort of chaotic. And even though Joseph Byrd wanted to make every decision democratically, the guys in the band were always complaining that he was sort of a dictator, which is really weird when it comes to communism because that's never happened. During the recording sessions, since nobody was always siding with Byrd and he was trying to impose his ideas, he started becoming paranoid, and he started believing that the producer was plotting together with Dorothy Moskowitz to have him removed from the band. So he started fighting a lot, having a lot of issues with the rest of the band members, who were all really unhappy about the situation of Joseph trying to dictate what had to be done, when they were actually all members of the band that should have had equal weight when it came to decision making, but it just didn't happen like that. So after recording the album, it was released. It actually charted, even though it was in the position 181, but it did chart for a very different sound, really crazy lyrics and just really crazy songs. That's a really good result, especially for a band that's new. And they just kept promoting the album with tours and with live shows, and everything seemed to be going up until the Byrd situation became just unmanageable. And he was too paranoid, and he started believing that the record company actually wanted to promote Dorothy Moskowitz as the new leader, and in order to have her become a solo singer and a solo performer, which was absolutely nuts. So because he was creating so much tension, he did this self-fulfilling prophecy because he was kicked out by the band and by the producer and by the recording company. The tensions within the band stuck there, and they started losing a lot of musicians until Dorothy Moskowitz found out she was the same with two of the guys and decided to keep the name, keep the fame, and hire people that were actually musicians and that actually knew what they were doing. So she started recording the second album for the United States of America, which never materialized for some reason, which is very unfortunate because on the re-release of the 1968 album called The United States of America, we find all these bonus tracks that are all those sessions of songs recorded by Moskowitz and the new band, and I actually think they are kind of better. So it would have been amazing to just get to listen to them. And they use a guitar which gives the songs kind of more structure, and there are more catchy songs. Yeah, maybe more pop oriented, which nobody likes, but I think they really work. I think Moskowitz does an amazing job as a songwriter, as a singer, and as a band leader. So in case Joseph Byrd's paranoid ideas were true, they would have actually been really good. And that's about the end of the United States of America. Joseph Byrd went on to record an album called The American Metaphysical Circus, which is actually the name of the United States of America's first track. And he recorded it with a band of fellow communist musicians called Joseph Byrd and the Field Hippies, which is another experimental album, which I also like a lot. I think it's worth giving it a try. And Dorothy Moskowitz stuck to the music industry and also to music teachings, which she has done up until this day. We're going to check out the tracks and my special recommendations. As I said, it's not a conventional album, so I just came to love it eventually. So I would recommend listening it as a whole. But I know there are some songs that are better than the others. The opening track, The American Metaphysical Circus, is insane. It starts just like with circus music, different tracks performing different songs in a circus matter, or military marches, or nationalist American songs, all those mixed up, and then Dorothy starts singing and giving the song more structure. But it's all just absolute craziness. I like it because it's crazy, but I'm sure it's probably not the favorite track of a bunch of people. The second track is, as I said, my favorite song, which is Hard Coming Love. I think that's the standout track. Cloud Song is the third one, and it's just a sweet ballad that was written by the guy who wrote Winnie the Pooh. So it's sort of a fun song, a slow, lovely lyrics and all that. Then comes The Garden of Earthly Delights, which is a track I definitely recommend. And then the standout track called I Won't Leave My Wooden Wife for You, Sugar, which I wouldn't have personally chosen it, but apparently there was a song compilation from all the bands in the US that were doing crazy shit and playing special material. And this track was included in that compilation, and it reached the UK. And so in the UK, the United States of America has sort of a cult following because of I Won't Leave My Wooden Wife for You, Sugar, and because it was included on this compilation. So that's why the band became sort of known over there. But of course, that was post-breakup. And there are two versions. The one in the album is sung by Byrd, and Dorothy Moskowitz does backing vocals only on the chorus. And the second track, which is included on the bonus track, is sung by Dorothy. You know which my favorite version is. The side 2 of the album opens with Where Is Yesterday, which starts with like a dark mass chorus. Amazing, like Gregorian chants that the band makes. And then they jump into this very psychedelic, dark sounding song, Where Is Yesterday. Coming Down is a hard rocker. I think the drummer does an amazing job on this song. This is probably one of my standout tracks on the album. And it's connected to the ballad, that song for Love Song for the Dead Che, which, as I stated, I think it's one of the best love songs out there ever written. So I love this transition from hard rock and hard drums and all that into the ballad. That mix is just amazing. They do it in a wonderful way. Stranded in Time is a song I usually skip. And it was actually not written either by Byrd or by Moskowitz, but by some of the band members. And it was included on the album against Byrd's wishes because the producer loved it. So maybe it's a good song and I just haven't given it any chance. And then The American Way of Love is Joseph Byrd being insane and mixing a lot of different tracks from the same album, like doing a medley of every single song they performed. So could be cool as an album closer, definitely. And then let's go to the bonus tracks. We start with Osamu's Birthday, which is the single that was not included in the album, the song that's written backwards. Then No Love to Give is a fun song written by Moskowitz. I think this is also a song that was performed by the New United States of America. Then follows the I Won't Leave My Wooden Wife for You Sugar, sung by Moskowitz. You Can Never Come Down, which is an amazing song written by Byrd, sung by Dorothy, and that he actually re-recorded with Joey Byrd and the Field Hippies in a different version. I think the version in the United States of America is better. Then Perry Pierre is probably my favorite song, the one I actually learned on guitar and played as part of my repertoire. I think it's a very good song written on keyboards. Taylor Man is again by the New United States of America, a song written and sung by Dorothy Moskowitz. I usually listen to it a lot, and I think I would like to learn it on guitar as well. Do You Follow Me is cool. And then you close again with 3 tracks that I think I skip them so often that I don't really remember which ones they are. But give it a try and see what they do for you. Maybe they are really cool tracks. So, that said, I think this is a band that's definitely worth it. Their history is amazing, and the sounds they started creating has put them as references of more modern bands, referring the United States of America as the first electronic rock band. It might be true, and very influential because of their use of sound effects and all that. I hope you enjoy it, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a wonderful experience listening to the United States of America's first album, The United States of America. Bye.